Hey, friend. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Boss Talk with Moet. As you already know, my name is Moet, which stands for Motivation Over Everything That Trends. And I am your motivational queen. Now, today I have another super great, amazing individual for you guys. Super person that is super uplifting, has a lot of things going on in their industry, in their field with the things that they're doing. His name is James, and I'm going to bring him up and allow him to introduce himself. Tell the people who you are, where you're from, how they can find you, how they can follow you, how they can connect with you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Boss Talk with Moet, and it's an honor to be here with you, sisters. It's an honor to be here with everybody that's on here. My name is James Zheng, and if you know me now, I'm a global speaker, I'm a trainer, and I'm an online entrepreneur. I'm a kingdom business coach, but I wasn't always like that, Moet. In fact, if you told me that I'd be doing what I'm doing right now in the beginning, 14 years ago, I'd be like, you got the wrong guy. And I'll start this with anybody that if you have a desire in your heart and you believe that you have more potential than meets the eye, but you're kind of doubting that, I hope that today's conversation will empower you and encourage you that it's absolutely possible. I grew up in a traditional household, Asian background. If you know anything about that, they say you can do anything you want to be in life as long as there's a doctor, lawyer, engineer. And I was doing that. So I went to UC Berkeley. I was a super nerd, very shy. And I found myself in a place where I felt empty. I felt like I wasn't prepared for life. So I was thinking about a backup plan. I was thinking about experience, but I didn't have any skills, Moet. I just could mow my parents' lawn. So one day, I have a friend of mine, and he connects me to my first business mentors, connects me to the wonderful world of network marketing. Thought it was a scam. But I saw the potential, I saw the mentorship, and I got started in that crazy thing. And 2.5 years later, changed my life. Myself, I changed. I got confident. I learned the skills. And by the time that I graduated from Berkeley, I made enough part-time to never need a job. And that was 12 years ago. And along that journey, a lot's happened since then. But you can find me on all platforms at James C. Zheng, Z-H-E-N-G. And I'd love to connect. But Moet, we have a lot to talk about today and to encourage, so I'll toss it back to you.
Yes, amazing. That is super amazing. So you got introduced to network marketing. How was it? Everybody's like, oh, this is a scam, a pyramid scheme, all
Oh,
of
yeah.
that stuff. So how
Yeah.
was it like as you were introduced to that? What did you have to overcome to be able to really get to the place where you are now as far as like being introduced to that initially?
Absolutely. So I get it when people think it's a pyramid. I get it when people think it's a scam because when I first saw network marketing, I thought the same stuff. In fact, I'm a little bit, maybe I should admit this, but it's true. Back in the day, it was like in-person meetings. So I remember I went there, I got dragged in, it was this house meeting, and I'm like, I know what one of these things are. I'm not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole, but I'm a 19-year broke college student, Mo, at this time. So I'm like, if I'm here, might as well be here. And I remember they had this energy drink. And I'm like, all right, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to get some samples here. I'm going to get them. So, they're trying to close you. I'm being super politically correct. I'll think about it, whatever. In my mind, I'm like, I'm getting the heck out of here. I got some free samples and then I was gone. Never thought I'd be involved again. But what happened was this, and I think it's important for all of us, whatever decisions that we're making in life, is that we really look at the truth of things. Don't just take hearsay. Don't just take a good opinion. And it's okay to look at reviews. We're in a place now where if you look on Amazon, I'm guilty of it. I don't buy anything if there's no stars on it. I don't buy anything if there's no reviews on it. But that's not exactly the best way to make a decision, right? Other people's opinions. So I started digging into the research itself. Is it true that it's a pyramid? What is a pyramid? what is network marketing, or whatever the decision is for you. And as I started to look for the facts and I looked for the principles, the truth was so glaring, Mo. I'm like, this is not only an incredibly lucrative and powerful profession to be a part of, but it's also ethical and moral and could be potentially powerful. So when I did the homework, outside of my own connotation, outside of other people's opinions, and looked at the facts, I decided, at least for me, it was a good decision for me. Hope that makes sense.
Yes, it definitely makes sense. It definitely makes sense. So it sounds like a lot of it had to do with your mindset in regards to at first how you thought about the things and then you took it upon yourself to go and really do your own research to be
Yeah.
able to get to know things and everything like that. So, how would you say that your mindset plays a part within this journey as far as network marketing, as far as your business, as far as the things that you're doing?
Powerful to say. So if you notice in life, we're typically taught that if you want to do well in life, work hard. And then of course, we got to work hard, right? But if you've ever tried to only work hard and you notice in the areas in your life, whether it's in a marriage, whether it's in your fitness, whether it's in a business, whether it's in your finances, you've probably met and encountered a wall where hard work only carries you so far. So then there's that saying of working smart. So working smart is going from the mind of things. Now, what does it exactly mean to work smart? What exactly is mindset? And this learning that I am about to share with you, let me grab this thing. Have you ever seen this before? Bob Proctor's thing?
I don't think so. Well, I
Okay.
think I might have seen it in a movie or something.
Okay. This little figure changed my life because we all hear mindsets everything. We know mindset's important, but it's hard to change something if you can't visualize it. So this is from a guy named Bob Proctor. He was best known for studying Think and Grow Rich for 60 plus years. He passed not too long ago, but taught success philosophies. And this is what he did. He imaged down what the mind looks like. Because if you want to change your life, everything is a direct correlation towards the actions that we take, which are from the feelings that we feel, which stem from the mindset and the thoughts that we believe. So we have a conscious, we have a subconscious mind. Conscious, you can control. Subconscious is you can't. That triggers our bodies to want to do something. So for sake of example, Moet, like what I realized is in my business, I got to a point, learned the skills. I started to make some money and I got capped. And any single entrepreneur that's listening to this, I want you to look at your money right now. It's not everything, not the only count, but it's important, right? It's a measurement. And this is what I noticed. Mo, I wonder, have you realized this in either your career or people around you that even if you do different strategies, maybe it's like the newest TikTok or social media, or the newest, you do copywriting a certain way, or you do a wave of prospecting. I noticed that no matter what I did, my income was always averaging a certain amount. Have you ever noticed that in your life?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's,
Absolutely.
it's like, what the heck is happening? I'm like, there must be something more to this. And what I realized is mindset truly is everything. You will get what it is that you believe. So we have to find a way to shift our subconscious mind, or we call it a paradigm. It's a set of commonly held beliefs. It's like a thermostat in a room. You can set it to 69 degrees Fahrenheit. If it goes up to 70, it'll go back down. If it goes down to 65, it'll go back to 69. We all have a thermostat, a paradigm in our health, in our money, in our self-esteem, in our relationships. So we have to look at that number objectively and be like, what is it telling me about my mind? So then I learned how to shift my paradigm. And I learned how to really start to change things. And then everything completely changed.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. Like honestly, because everything definitely does start with your mindset and once you understand that, everybody says it. Change your mindset, change your life,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So, what is on your journey? What
Yeah.
is a time that you really had to overcome something that
Yeah.
you may have at that moment you thought like, "Oh man, how the heck am I going to get through this?" And then you overcame it. Like, talk about that. What was it and how did you overcome?
A year ago, we almost lost everything. Um, we have dreams. And I think it's important, right? All of us should be inspired by dreams. But if you've ever realized, it typically is that when you have a big dream, there's a part in the dream journey where it looks impossible. You're like, how is this going to happen? So our personal dream was a dream home. So I'm up in the Bay Area for 15 years after going to Berkeley. I met my wife, Becky, and we're up there. And one day we're like, it'd be nice to move back home. And I'm out here in San Diego. So we wanted a specific build. So we did the whole vision board, writing down our goals. What do you want? What does the house look like and everything? And it seemed impossible. But we set it as a goal. So one day we get a phone call and my mom's like, hey, 5 minutes down the street, there's a new community that's building in San Diego. You should go take a look at this. Now at this point, we couldn't afford it at all. Our business had taken a plummet and then we're building it back up. But it doesn't matter about how to do it. It first matters about what you want. So I'd encourage anyone that's listening to think right now, what do you really want? If time and money were not an issue and you couldn't fail, what would you want? So we wanted this house. So we took a look at it. It seemed amazing. And literally there was like 14,000 applicants for like, I don't know, 1,000 homes or something. Like it was not automatic just to get on the house. You couldn't even bid for these homes, Moet. Like you literally had to go into this raffle drawing system. It was ridiculous. But long story short, 2 years of patience. And we finally get the notice, we are on the list for the house. So me and my wife, we're like, here we go. We're going to do it. It's literally the exact house that we had penned down that we wanted. So we're like, all right, this is a God thing right here. This is what we're praying for. And then what happens is, have you ever been just hit one time too much where you just could not get up again? It's like that last blow. So we get the notice on the house, Moet. A day or two goes by. We have a down payment saved up. It was in some investment that was safe, quote unquote. We get the word that quote unquote safe investment is gone. Liquidation event, horrible, crazy. We're like, oh my gosh. That day I was like, how can I tell my wife, Becky? Fortunately, she is very patient and mindful. She said, we'll figure it out. So that was already bad. But we're like, all right, we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out, right? We have a business. We run a health and wellness business. So we're going to go make this happen. Then we come to find out that our main income stream, the partner company that we'd been partnered with, had not been reporting earnings for over 4 quarters. And it was because there was some shady business going on. And then we find out that all of a sudden, that partner company was declaring bankruptcy. So Mo, I want you to imagine, like, how did that feel? You have your dream, you're excited, you lose your down payment, and then your main income source is in jeopardy. So we're like, come on, God. It's like Job, right? It's like, why is this happening? And this is what happened. And I truly believe in the scripture that God's ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts. And this is when I started to realize that, especially if you're a kingdom-minded person, if you're a person of faith, you know, so many times, I don't know if you're like this, Mo, but I am. I know prayer is powerful. I know God is omnipotent, and I know all that, but it's not always my primary way to go. Like I try to do it my way first, right? It's like, I got this, right? Well, what do you do when you can't do anything else? So what happened was this, and I think about the story of Jericho on the wall. So here's Joshua. If you don't know the story, Old Testament, Joshua is Moses' predecessor. He's leading the Israelites into the promised land, and he's like a war captain, basically. He's going up against this fortified city called Jericho. And he has been walking through the wilderness with him and his people. They have no guns back in the day. They have no material. They have no equipment. And they're supposed to climb these walls. These walls are like 14 feet plus tall. It's double layered walls. It's a mile around the entire city. Jericho was known as the fortress. And you're going up, it's like going up to a fortress with like a little slingshot and rock. They're like, we got you. Like that's kind of what they had. It seemed impossible. And in the word, it says that they had a military strategy that was different. You would think that traditional mindset is, you know, come up with some crazy business strategy or not a wartime strategy and find good equipment, and go figure it out. You know what their strategy was? If you know the story, God said, put worship up front, put the priests up front, walk around the walls 7 times, and just don't say anything. And on the 7th day, shout, and you're going to win. Now, how about you? Even if you're a person of faith, that just sounds crazy, right? Well, it's like,
Yeah.
what? And I bring this up because God's ways are not our ways. So I got an idea. I was within earshot. I was in this place of desperation. I'm on this trip for the company. We're kind of just like bracing for impact. And I hear our company owner say this word that I've never really heard before in this context. He said, I did a water fast. Have you ever tried a water fast before, Moet? A water only fast?
I have tried it. I went about 24 hours. I ain't make it long.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's like a lot, right? So like it sounds crazy. I mean, fasting. I love food, by the way. So if I go to when I go to Atlanta, we're gonna eat all different types of things. I want some good Southern food. So fasting didn't make sense to me at all, like for a strategy. But he mentioned doing an extended water only fast, and I started to think about things in the Bible. You know, Jesus fasted and Moses fasted, but I never thought about it. It's like, how does not eating do anything, right? But I started to look into the principles of fasting to shift the mind. And let me just break it down in a psychological way. Okay. If we want different results in our life, then it means we have to shift our mindset. But if you've been alive at any time, you know better than I do that even though you might have a good intention in your conscious, we are constantly struggling against temptation. Business, for example. There are decisions that are better made because they're for the long run. Maybe you have to do a strategy that won't make a lot of money right now, but it might make you money a year from now. But I would rather get the move that would pay me right now because I want everything now. We live in America where Amazon Prime is too slow. You know, it's like, it's how we are. So the best way, if you want inspired thoughts, if you want miraculous breakthroughs in your life, is we need to make sure that our mind's not influenced by our body. We need to make sure that our mind's influenced by the Spirit. We know him as the Holy Spirit. So how do we cut out the noise from our body and our environment? Fasting is the fastest way to be able to starve the flesh to feed the spirit. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this thing out. I did a 7-day water only fast. I didn't think it sounded crazy. It was actually much easier than expected. I didn't realize there's a lot of things, you know, physically, scientifically, cancer patients. If you have cancer, there's doctors that take them on 40-day water only fast to kill the cancer. Like,
Oh, wow.
it's crazy. After 12 hours, 16 hours, your body goes into ketosis, you're burning fat. After 24 hours, you start boosting up human growth hormone in your body, so you're anti-aging. Within 24 hours, you kick on what's called autophagy. You're literally recycling dead cells like cancer cells in your body. After around 36 hours, you kick up stem cell production in your body as well too. You're literally anti-aging, and actually your hunger hormones go down. You feel amazing. You feel energetic. And I'm like, this is the foodie. 7 days of no eating was really simple, but it wasn't just that. Fasting without prayer is just a diet. But when you couple with prayer and reading his word, absolute miracles happen. And long story short, Moet, 7 days later, I got kingdom amazing ideas. Financial miracles happened after that. I ended up writing a book called The Miraculous Breakthrough. I documented that, launched that. Business turned around. Finances turned around. We are in the home now. Everything was just fine, and it changed my life. But to answer your question in a long-winded way, God's ways are better. That's what I encourage people to do.
Amazing, amazing. Now, have you always had this relationship with God, or has it been a moment where you just had to come and find it on your own? Because I know, like, for me, I've always had like prayer and stuff and people talking about God and different stuff like that, but I never really had a relationship with God until I was like 18, 19, and something like that. Then I came
Wow.
into that on my own. So, how was your experience with that?
I grew up agnostic. I grew up thinking What's the point? All the religions say the same thing. To be honest, I thought people that believed in faith were not intelligent because I know science and science solves everything. And I'm going to UC Berkeley and I could solve everything with the mind, right? Like that was my notion of things. I'm like, it's good for you, like that type of a person. But I got brought to faith because my mentors were Christian. And I noticed, especially in the business space, I'm like, there's something to the spirituality thing. Um, and what happened was I hit my business goal of quitting my full-time job, which I thought would be the dream. It ended up being a nightmare. I got depressed immediately because I had time to think now. And I'm like, why am I working so hard? What's the point of this? Is there a purpose of life? Those deep, dark questions. And ask the question, is there such a thing as truth? And if so, what is it? I couldn't answer with science. I had to answer it with spirituality. Look through all the different faiths, and the Christian faith was the only one because the scripture, John 14:6, where Jesus says, who says, I am the Son of God, I am God himself. Every other religion says they're a prophet, an inspired leader, whatever that it is. Jesus himself said, I am the truth, the way, the life. And I'm like, wow, either he's lying and 2 billion people in the world fell for that, or maybe he's right. So I
Mm.
made a step of faith that day. And since then, it's not smooth sailing. I would say that I'm spiritual now. I'm saved, right? Once you believe and you confess with your mouth, you believe in your heart that Jesus is Christ, you're saved. Yes, but there's also a maturation process. There's a renewing of the mind. And the heart needs to be stripped. We need to be reformed. And unfortunately, typically, God uses many different ways, but probably one of the best ways to refine us is through the fire. I'm sure, Moed, in your life, or in any listener, you can think about deep lessons of wisdom that you learned, and it's probably tied to some type of pain. Would you say that's the case?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, man. So it wasn't
Definitely.
always like that. But I'll tell you when really the relationship came. And I want to challenge everyone here, if you are a person of faith, if not, kind of take this with a grain of salt, right? Perhaps explore. Is God truly first? Now, there's a promise in the Bible, Matthew 6:33. It's one of those famous verses. But if you put first God, Him, His kingdom, and His righteousness, all of these other things will be added to you. So, listener, I want you to think: do you want everything else? Do you want the success, the prosperity, the joy, the happiness? Do you want the fulfillment? Do you want the achievement? Do you want the things that are the desires of our heart? Then there's a challenge and there's a promise that if we put him first in everything, in our relationships, in our money, in our business, then all these other things will be added to you. The challenge is this: it's easier said than done. If you were having to lose everything except him, would he still put him first? And what happened, Mud, is we had a period in our business in the past where we lost everything. We lost our house, our cars, myself, my confidence, my accolades, and I was in a deep depression. I'm a person of faith at this moment already. But I felt like so empty. I felt like a hypocrite. I felt like I was just like gone. I felt depressed. I'm like, man. And God was revealing to me that I had placed above him idols of achievement, idols of accolades. I
Mm.
placed my identity right in things of the world. And I was kind of using God to get stuff. No, not exactly, but that was kind of the priority, right? When I shifted that, the most joy I felt was when I moved back to my mother-in-law's place. It's me and my wife in a cramped room. We lost everything. I was hundreds of $1,000s in debt. We didn't know where our business was going to be. But when I realized that the King of Kings already paid a price for all of our lives and our identity is in Christ, and that nothing could take that away, that we already have the riches of the world. We already won the battle. We're already victorious. We're already more than conquerors. When I finally realized that in my heart, you can call it the subconscious, same thing. My paradigm shifted. Instantly, joy overflowed. And the funny part is this, the interesting part is this: when you start from that state of gratitude, everything else then flows. Business ideas came, finances came, like everything else came. But it had to start, at least from me, when I'm like, if I really have nothing, like Job, will I forsake him? Or will I actually accept him?
Amazing, amazing. That is so amazing and so inspiring. Like your whole story in itself is so inspiring. So, what is your current goals that you're working on, that you're working to achieve? Like, what is your mission that you want to be able to impact this world with?
I have 3 goals on a goal card. I encourage people to write it down. On the back, I actually have scriptural promises because his word will not return void. My dog says hello as well, too. Family is a big thing. So we want to start a family, of course, personal reasons. We have our business. We run our Warrior Movement team, and we sell health and wellness products. We build sales teams to do that. We want that to be the number 1 team in the world. But the biggest thing, and I know I'm going hyper spiritual, but it's who I am. As we were going through that phase of that fast, we were trying to figure things out to get the house and move forward in life. I asked God a question that I challenge anybody that's daring enough to ask this question. You have to be careful, because if you ask, expect an answer, you might not like the answer. Here was the question, Moet. I asked the Lord, I'm like, Lord, if there's one thing I could do for the rest of my life to best bring glory to you and your kingdom, with how you've gifted me, how you've designed me, what would that be? And I started to think, and I started to listen. And this is what I got. Oh, and usually you're going to find the answer. Here's a tip for anyone. If you want to find your call, what bothers you in the world? What are the things that hurt your heart? What are the things that when you look at that, you're like, there's an injustice? Like, Moet, you're very self-aware. I'm sure you put some thought to that already as well, too. What are some things for you that like bother you in this world? Anything come to mind?
Just people being ugly and being mean and not being encouraging and different things like that.
Makes sense. And isn't it interesting? Not interested, so it's not ironic that you've built a podcast like this and you're always on your social media constantly giving empowerment. You're one of the most positive, uplifting people that I know that's consistent with it, whether or not you get the engagement or not, because you are solving that problem that you see that there's an issue with. The problem I saw was this: being someone that loves the Lord. I love personal growth. I love self-development. I always listen to podcasts, reading books, and all that. There's a lot of good things out there, but there's not a lot of God. And I felt the Lord saying, hey, there is people are robbing the credit of my principles from me, and bring back these success principles back to the kingdom. Kingdom principles work better when you have the king with you. And I started to research, and I'm like, how do you win in life? How do you win in business God's way? You know what I found, Moet? Not much. Like, literally not much. If you try to search this, Christian success. Like, if you look up success, you're going to find Ed Milet and Tony Robbins and, all these amazing people. If you look up Christian success, you can scroll almost to the bottom of YouTube, that's supposed to be endless. I'm like, what? I believe the Bible is the best, it's not just God's written word and his inerrant word, but it's the best business book. It's the best strategy book. It's the best personal development book in the world. And I believe that if you believe that God is who he says he is, we have an X factor, that if we're able to co-partner with God, co-partner with him in every area in our life, he can do immeasurably more and abundantly more than we can ever even imagine. I'm like, shouldn't we, if you're somebody of faith, be able to actually have better fruit, which will then be the best testimony in the world? So I started to research that, and I started to implement that. And there's things that have just blown my mind, Mo. This last year has been transforming our marriage, in our business, in our career. There's things happening even just today where I'm like, really good? It's like, dang, I'm not that good, but you're that good. So that's been the journey that I've been on currently.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So do you have like any major projects that you're working on that are coming up or anything like that?
Absolutely. So at this time, literally live. So I have a book. And this is talking about that 7-day fast, basically. So there's something cool here. But at the tip of that spear is I have a passion for equipping any type of kingdom-minded entrepreneur that wants to truly win God's way and bring glory to him. For the first time ever, and I don't publicize this, it's not meant to be a big thing. I believe the Holy Spirit will lead us to the right person. But I'm opening up for the first time ever something called Kingdom Builders Academy, which is a space where I've put together a 12 lesson curriculum that will walk you through things like, how do you set a God-sized dream? What are spiritual tools that you can use to be able to get out of things like fear and doubt and breakthrough?
Oh no. Oh no.
Hello, hello. I'm
Oh
back.
yeah, you're back.
Dramatic pause. Dramatic pause. But
It's all good.
yeah, but there's all these different types of principles, scriptural, Bible-based, everything that we put together that I've applied. I've actually had a small coaching group that they've applied. I've seen transformations and miracles in business and life and finances and everything. So we're opening that up. Literally, it was today for just a little bit of time, like a week or two. That if anybody is fascinated by that, it is a high-level coaching group. It is not for the faint of heart, and it's someone that really wants. They love the Lord. They want to win His way, though. They want some help. I'm opening that up. So if you're interested in that, we can definitely chat about that.
Amazing, amazing. That is so dope. That is so amazing and inspiring. Now, we do have a link here. Tell people a little bit about this, like if they scan this, if they visit that, what they're going to get whenever they go there.
Grab your QR code, grab your phones and everything. That's awesome, by the way. Dang, I need to do that. That's really cool. Guys, just give Moet a huge shout out. To do what she's doing right here takes a lot of insight, a lot of preparation, a lot of professionalism. So just respect to you. But if you're in a place that you need a breakthrough, and not just any breakthrough, but a miracle in your life, then this QR code will take you to a quick video that will share with you a principle that I found to be the single easiest way to make breakthroughs in life. That's free. Like, you could do it right now. In fact, I applied that principle around a year ago for the first time, and it changed everything. And I'm like, man, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching. I should have just done this. That's what it'll give to you.
Amazing, amazing. Now, one last question that I always like to ask. If you could go back, well, I have actually have two questions. So the first question is for somebody that is sitting around, they are thinking about starting a business. They're thinking about going after that dream, that goal, that vision, but they're just still kind of on the fence. What are some words of encouragement that you would give them?
Successful people work differently than the rest. I grew up thinking I need to know the plan and then I'll move. Well, analysis paralysis is going to kick in. You're never going to know the plan. The plans change. Successful people, what they do, they think entirely differently. They make a decision based on what they want, and it has to be something that you really, really want. That's why I encourage people to set a God-sized dream, something that's like, wow, amazing. They say yes to it, and then they move. Then they move. They get a glimpse of the promise. Abraham, the father of many nations, was given a glimpse of a promise to leave his hometown, and God told him, "Go to the promised land. I'm gonna find a place for you." Abraham was not told the direction to go. He was not told where it was. He wasn't told how long he would be going on the journey. He just gave a little glimpse. He had the faith to take a step out, and along the way, God provides. If you have a true dream, you're not going to know the steps. If you have a true dream, you're not going to know the strategies. But all you need is that inspiration to be able to say yes, and then take the next step, and then take the next step, and the next step. And I promise you this, it's going to be the ride of a lifetime. You're going to feel more alive than you have ever before. And at the end, you're going to be able to keep on following Moet so you can follow her stuff. You're going to be able to land at the journey, the promised destination.
Yes, that is amazing. That is amazing. I know Les Brown always says that you don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great. So
Amen.
that is amazing. So, one last question. If you
Yeah.
could go back to younger you, before the process, before thinking of the goal, before coming up with the dream, all of that stuff, what would you say to you?
I'd say that you're not defined by your work. You're not defined by anything external. That your value, your net worth is not your self worth. You don't have to prove it to anybody. You don't have to perform for anybody. It doesn't matter what the expectations are around you by anyone else. Only play to an audience of one that loves you unconditionally, that is proud of you already, that designed you even before he created this entire universe. And if we start from a place of victory and acceptance and joy already, if we start from a place of belonging already, and we're overflowing with gratitude, the way we work, the way we go about life is completely different than the other way. The world is going for a way of trying to fill in a void that only God can fill. That's why you see people quote unquote succeed and become suicidal, unfortunately. Super sad. But if you start right away with knowing that you've already been loved and accepted, you're already in the family of God, and then you move, you have such a fulfilled and successful life. You're way better.
Amazing, amazing. So one last time, let the people know who you are, what you do, how they can follow you, how they can tap in with you, all of that good stuff.
Absolutely. My name is James Zheng. You can follow me on all channels: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. James C. Zheng, Zheng. I'm a kingdom business coach. I'm in the health and wellness space. I coach people to make money from their phones. But mostly, I'm someone that loves the Lord and I love people and I love to connect with you. Any way that I can help, let me know. Reach out. I'll try to be friendly. I think I'm generally friendly. And thank you for the honor today.
Awesome, amazing. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Definitely thank you guys for tuning in, for tapping in, all of that good stuff. If you're watching a replay or if you didn't catch any gems throughout this process, I highly suggest starting it over from the beginning and running it back because gems were definitely dropped. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember that life is too short to be anything but motivated. Now, I'll see you guys next week. Talk to you soon.